Greetings. This is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct today from Black Facts Headquarters Central with the daily news, the daily views every single day. Yes. So let's go ahead and get it on. Otherwise, you're going to have to take your dead, you know what I mean. Yes, I don't even need to finish that one. If you don't, those that know, those that don't know, don't say hello. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and continue on doing our sayings, proverbs, and reading messages from the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Messages he gave to us over 100 years ago that are still resonating today because the times have not changed overly much. But before we get to all of that good stuff, we need to do some boilerplate things, such as give us a like if you're watching on Facebook, give us a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube, and then go ahead and spread the word far and wide across the land, from hand to hand and mouth to mouth, house to house and mouse to mouse, about what we're doing here at on the Tubular Black Facts channel. That's right, we've created our own channel, so get on it, get a handle on the channel that you need to have a handle on Tubular Black Facts. Meanwhile, let's see what words of wisdom Marcus has to offer us today. Let's see what he's got for us today, because he always has something good. Knock on wood. Let's see what we got today. All right, here we go here. This one is like a kind of a short prayer. I pray to God that we shall never use our physical prowess to oppress the human race, but we will use our strength physically, morally, and otherwise to preserve humanity and civilization. I pray to God that we should never use our physical prowess to oppress the human race, but we will use our strength physically, morally, and otherwise to preserve humanity and civilization. So that's our message for today. And we had started reading a message yesterday. That's our words of wisdom for today. We had started reading one of his messages yesterday, and we're going to continue on with that. But we've got a little technical deal over here going on. Let's just see if we can ferret this out. I'm not sure what this, oh, here. That's probably what the problem is. Let's try that. See if that does anything. I don't know why my slideshow doesn't seem to want to function today properly for some unknown reason. I don't know what it's doing over here. It's just acting crazy. But let's see if I can get it to stop acting like a lazy daisy and get it on. Here we go. Now, that's looking good. And let's see if it will do what it's supposed to do. There we go. All right. Now, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. And, yep, put in our slideshow. So this slideshow also starts off with a message, which is take advantage of every opportunity where there is none. Make it for yourself. Take advantage of every opportunity where there is none. Make it for yourself. In other words, do for self what others cannot do for you, or in this case, for us. We have to do for self what others cannot do for us. Yeah, we become a little bit too dependent. We need to be a little bit more independent. So here we go. And we're reading, the message we're reading from today is, just to remind you, Christ the Greatest Reformer, a speech delivered at Liberty Hall, New York, USA, December 24, 19 and 22. So this is a Christmas Eve speech. And here we go. Make sure that it's working now. All right. Christianity, a moving force. We can learn from the teachings of Christ. Even though man in the ages may be hard in heart and hard in soul, that which is righteous, that which is spiritually just, even though the physical man dies, the righteous cause is bound to live. Because the preaching of Jesus, the teaching of Jesus was not something physical. If it was something physical, it would have died. The teaching of Jesus, the preaching of Jesus was something physical, and where there was something spiritual, and where there is righteousness of spirit, there is length of life. Jesus the man was not respected. Jesus the man was not adored. Jesus the man was not even loved by his own people. And for that, they crucified him. But the spiritual doctrines of Jesus were righteous. The doctrines of Jesus were just. And even though he died nearly 1900 years ago, what has happened? After the lapse of 1900 years, his religion is the greatest moving force in the world today, morally and spiritually. It shows you, therefore, the power of spiritual force. It shows you, therefore, the power of a righteous cause. Jesus, who was the first great reformer, taught us the way. After him followed the other great reformers who shared the same fate, born perhaps in the same lowly station of life. Feeling with the masses of people who suffered like them, they have gone out. Whether it be Luther or St. Augustine or some other great reformer, but they have all gone out and they preach their doctrine, to suffer in their time for the doctrine, to rise again on the wings of time and to flourish as the green bay tree. Man's kinship with his creator. Christmas symbolizes something other than the amusement that it affords today. Christmas brings us to the realization of the fact that hundreds of years ago, when man was practically lost in his spiritual kinship with his creator and the world probably was to be wiped away, the Son of God himself came down from his throne on high for the purpose of saving you and saving me. We rejected him in the past. Our attitude now suggests no better consideration for him if he should return. But with that patience, with that love, but with that mercy, with that charity that caused him to look down not in revenge but in belief, in the hope that sometime man will change his ways. Man will get to realize his true kinship with his creator and be what his God expected him to be. But before we reach this point, we need a better understanding of self as individuals. And may I not appeal to the strong and mighty races and nations of the world for a better and a closer consideration and understanding of the teachings of the man Christ, who went about in this world in his effort to redeem fallen man? May I not say to the strong, may I not say to the powerful, that until you change your ways, there will be no salvation. There will be no redemption. There will be no seeing God face to face. God is just. God is love. God is no respecter of persons. God does not uphold advantage and abuse to his own people. God created mankind to the same rights and privileges and the same opportunities. And before man can see his God, man will have to measure up in that love, in that brotherhood that he desired us to realize and know as taught to us by his son Jesus. Let us realize that we are our brother's keeper. Let us realize that we are of one blood, created of one nation, to worship God the common Father. It does not therefore suggest a proper understanding of our God or proper knowledge of ourselves when in our strength we attempt to abuse and oppress the weak, as is done to Negroes today. The selfishness of mankind. The statesmen of the world cry out for peace. They are meeting in many conferences with the hope that they will have peace. But I wonder if they understand the meaning of peace. There can be no peace until that peace reflects the spirit of the message of the angels of 19 centuries ago. The real peace, actuated by love. Love as the Christ came to the world to give us. Love for the high and mighty. Love for the meek and lowly. Love for all is the only peace that will reign. Is the only peace that will draw man nearer to his God. Man is so selfish that he does not seem to realize that there is anyone else in the world but himself. The statesmen who lead America seem to believe that there is no one else in the world but the people who make up America. The statesmen who lead the British Empire, even though they cry for peace and desire peace, seem to believe that no one else lives in the world but men within the British Empire. Up to now, we have not yet got the message of the angels. Up to now, they have not yet fully interpreted the spirit of Christ. Christ came into the world not to save one set of humanity. Otherwise, he would not have been the Christ. Christ came into the world to save mankind. Therefore, his love must be for all. His love could not be sectional. His love could not be partial. His love was general and universal. Therefore, before we can have peace on earth, before we can welcome the Spirit of the high God, before we can get a true understanding of the Spirit of the Christ who came to us born in the lowly stable at Bethlehem, we must get to realize the brotherhood that exists, realize it in truth, realize it in fact, and practice it whether we be white, black, or some other hue. God not interested in the physical activities of man. Realizing that Christ came to save all mankind from the fallen state, to restore man to his spiritual kinship with his God, let us practice a spirit of love, a spirit of charity, a spirit of mercy toward mankind, because in so doing we will be bringing God's kingdom down to earth. Let us live that true life, that perfect life in ourselves as spiritual beings, not forgetting that we are physical also. Man must not fail to understand his dual personality. In being charitable and sympathetic like the Christ would have us to be, does not mean to say that we must ignore our physical needs. Christ was not so much interested in the physical responsibility of man. Neither is God interested in the physical activities of man. That may be something strange to say at this hour when you have heard so much about religion. Christ cared so little for the physical that he offered up himself and was satisfied to go on the cross and let the physical die. God the Father is interested in the spiritual of man, but man's physical body is for his own protection. It's for his own purpose. Whatsoever you want to do with the physical, God does not interfere. And I trust at this time, when we are going to contemplate Christ, that we will get a better understanding of him and get a better understanding of the religion that he taught. Because some of us seem to have some peculiar ideas about the religion of Jesus. Some of us seem to believe that Christ and God the Father are responsible for all our ills. physical ills that have nothing to do with our physical ills. I repeat, God is not, and Jesus is not interested in the bodies of men. If you want to care for your body, that is the privilege and prerogative given to you by God. If you want to destroy it, that is the same privilege and prerogative he has given. If you want to commit suicide, that's your business. If you want to live, that's your business. God has given you the power. He has made you a free agent as far as the physical in life goes. All that God is interested in is the spiritual, that you cannot kill, because the moment you destroy the physical body, God lays claim to the spiritual with which you are endowed. The spiritual is never yours. The spiritual is always God's, but the physical is your own property. If you want to break your physical life up, that is all your business. God does not interfere, and that should be the Negro's interpretation in this 21st century of Christ's religion. It is no use to blame God and Christ for the things that happen to us in the physical. They are not responsible. They have absolutely nothing to do with it. If one mind enjoys life and another does not, God has absolutely nothing to do with the difference between the two individuals. That is to say, if one mind lives in a palace across the street and enjoys life, and the other fellow lives in the gutter, God has nothing to do with the difference between them. It is purely a physical regulation left to man himself. Make your interpretation of Christianity scientific, what it ought to be, and blame not God, blame not the white man for physical conditions for which we ourselves are to be blamed. Wow. Man, when I finish reading Garvey, I feel physically winded, expended, just spent, because his ideas and his delivery are so powerful. To be able to ring like that over 100 years later, to still be able to ring like that, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's more to Marcus Garvey than meets the eye. There's more to Marcus Garvey than a silly hat. We look at that hat and we say, somebody just came out with a book recently, a Negro with a hat. That's what they named their book about Garvey. Negro with a hat. No, Garvey was not a Negro with a hat. Garvey was a man with a vision. That's who Marcus Garvey was, a Negro with a hat. What kind of title is that for a book? I mean, it sounds like they're going to tell you about a clown show. Do you really want to spend your money reading about a clown show? Do you even want to have that book on your shelf? I myself decided not to purchase the book at all, because the title itself told me as much as I needed to know about the book. It's talking about a Negro with a hat. That's not talking about Garvey. Garvey was a man of vision, and that's what we need to have today. Those of us who still have the ability to have visions need to have some vision. We need to be able to look at the future and visualize a future for ourselves, regardless of the white man, regardless of the system, regardless of capitalism, regardless of socialism, communism, and all those other isms and schisms. If all those things stopped existing today, what kind of world would we build? That's what we need to focus on. That's the vision. That's the task we need to be working on. If all those other things did not exist, what would we build for ourselves? We spend way too much time thinking about, talking about, walking around just with it on our minds, heavy on our hearts. As to, well, COVID is doing this, and the white man did this, and the white man did that. I don't give a damn what the white man did. What are you going to do? That's the real question. What are you going to do? What am I going to do? What are we personally going to take responsibility for? We got some skin in the game. We need to pay attention and get on the beam. We're not on the beam. We have fallen off the beam. Just like Simone Biles, she realized she had lost her balance and said, whoa, let me stop jumping and flying through the air on this beam because I done lost my balance. I don't need to get back out here on this beam and I don't have a good sense of balance because all that's going to lead to is total disaster. So, what they say, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, right? Got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Well, right now, this ain't a time to fold. This is a time to hold. What cards are you holding in your hand? Think about that. That's our message for today. This is Doc Ock signing off here at Doc Ock at noon and 9. So, in the meantime, you know we'll be back tonight with more from the book Blake or The Huts of America. We'll be reading some more from this book tonight. So be here without fear, and we will bring you one step nearer and maybe help you be just a little bit clearer about what life might have in store for you or what life should have in store for you. Because even Henry, in this book, even Henry, the so-called slave, he got a vision too. Henry got a vision. Henry got a straight up vision. And he's supposed to be the lowly of the low. If he could have a vision, why can't we? All right, enough of that today, because I don't want to sound too preachy, but sometimes I get that way. It's not my fault. This is Garvey talking to you from right here at the Tubular Black Facts channel. Don't forget to give us a like if you're watching on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, and then go ahead and subscribe to the Tubular Black Fox channel right below. You see a button right there. Hit it and quit it. Don't forget it. It don't take but a minute and it won't even hurt. Peace out without a doubt. Of course, with justice, because anything less disgusts us. And as we go out with this, give a wave to Leroy. Peace out, my brother. And we'll be black tonight. Look for us here at 9 o'clock because we're going to be ready to rock at 9 o'clock EST. You will see me.